Saying that, we're going to talk about something else that is probably a bit more alive, a bit more not so nefarious, not so dark, not so obscure. That is how our world is made of. What is the world about? Okay, it's the cosmology of creation itself. Creation is much larger than most of you think. Now, we have said already that we are not the only inhabitable planet creation. That shouldn't shock many of you because that doesn't make sense. It makes absolutely no sense to have such a vast space in the universe for absolutely no use. What is the purpose of having millions and millions upon millions of planets and not having any beings inhabiting them? Do you think God is that illogical? That's what they told you. But that's not true. We're not the only planet. Not in this system, not in the universe. We are one planet among a system of planets. Our system has a name. A system is made of approximately 1,000 inhabitable planets, of which this one is. It's the number 606 planet. We're a part of the system of Satania. The system, or our system, is called Satania. The names come from revelations that have been given by angels to us. I actually have a book about the world or the constitution of creation itself. The book is called Urantia. Some of you know about it. He knows about it. I would suggest, if you're really serious about knowing about the cosmology of our creation, to purchase the book. It's about 2,000 pages. It's a good read. There are very new concepts introduced in the book. It's one of the best books there is on earth right now. Urantia. Urantia. Yeah, they sell it. Talks about everything that you probably need to know for now. And it's still not the complete revelation. There's still a lot more to know. But those things are done in steps. They cannot reveal everything at once because we wouldn't be able to understand it all anyway. There is so much to learn. This was the second most important event after the birth of the one you call Jesus. I said the one you call Jesus because there are the names. Their explanation of what Jesus was about, what he was indeed. But this is not to be revealed right now. As part of another one of the many sessions we are ready to have in order to share this information with you. Because that's what this is a sharing of crucial information that would enable us to take our sovereignty back and become a true human. It's part of what the servants of Creator, First Source, are about. It's something that must be done in order for us to continue evolving, or actually to catch up, because we are actually late in our evolutionary stage. There is a specific train of evolution or stages of evolution on planets. There is a specific order in which evolution must take place in order to make progress properly. So, planet Earth is the 606th planet of the system called System of Satania. Lucifer was in charge of Satania as a higher angel. That was his role, his duty, to administer those planets. Actually, he was even higher than that, but that system fell under his jurisdiction. He had more than that under his belt. So, our system is part of a larger grouping, which is called a constellation. Not in the scientific sense, in a different sense. A constellation is made up of 100 systems. So you multiply 100 by 1,000, right? So you have 100,000 planets per constellation. The constellation is part of a larger grouping. We are located as the outermost part of our local universe. We're at the edge of a larger, what they call multiverse. We are fairly new in the grand scheme of things, meaning that our planet is not that old in comparison to the existence of other planets that have been around for a lot longer time. Just enlarging your mind. After the constellation, you have what they call the local universe, which is the 100 multiplied by 100,000 planets. And then you have a minor sector, then a major sector. Then you arrive at what we call the super universe. Our super universe is what the scientific calls the Milky Way. You heard about it. So the Milky Way is our super universe, and it has a name. It's called Orvonton, or RVONTON. Now, at each center of those particular groupings, they are inhabited what they call architectural spheres. Why do I call it spheres? Because they are large, huge planets that are inhabited by higher beings, beings who are much advanced than we are. As I said, we are fairly young on the evolutionary ladder. Now, that's our super universe. There are 7 super universes. You have about 1 trillion planets per super universe. I did say 1 trillion. So now pause for a second and think, if you have 1 trillion planets, and how many beings are there? And this is not a story to amaze you, it is true. Some of us know it for true. We know it. And there are reasons why we know it. It's due to experience. But that's another subject. We've been living a life of lies for a long time now. And it's about time that we understand what life is about. Life is about evolution, always. The Father, the Creator, has not created anything that is not supposed to evolve, to become better. That's what evolution is about. Until you become perfect. And even in perfection, there is no rest. Or there is rest, but meaning that there is no stopping in learning, in evolving. There's always movement. That's how the Creator intended it. So, 7 super universes. Ours is actually the 7th. Each super universe takes after the attributes of God. One thing the church, for example, religions have not lied about is that there is indeed a Trinity. God the Father, that's the source, the first one, to create anything else. Even though, in a sense, there is no difference. But after God the Father, you have the eternal Son. And after the eternal Son, if you need a sequence of events, even though it seems almost that all of them have existed since eternity, you have what they call the eternal Spirit. Not as of yet the Holy Spirit. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Trinity, where we come from. God the source, through God the source, the Father, came the Son. And from the Son and the Father manifest the eternal Spirit. So Father, through the first thoughts, the first act of will, immediately took place or became manifest his thought in his word in the person of the Son. It took place, and the Son immediately appeared as a being that you can actually see. You cannot see the Father, by the way, in that sense, as if the Father has a form like we do understand a form. You can stand in the presence of the Father. That takes a long time, because you have to go through all those evolutionary stages in order to get to the Father, who is at the center of all creation. And that center of creation is called the Isle of Paradise. That's where paradise is. Paradise is a long, super long way from here. Besides, you can't travel there by yourself. You would have a very specific type of angel to take you there. The enormity of the distance itself is mind-boggling. You cannot, as of yet, none of you understand what that means, as of yet. And being in the presence of the Father is another thing. So, we have 7 super universes, and each of them takes the attributes of the Trinitized beings, meaning the Father, the Eternal Son, and the Eternal Spirit. The first super universe created takes after the attributes of the Father. The second super universe created takes after the attributes of the Eternal Son. The third one takes after the attributes of the Eternal Spirit. The fourth one is a combination of the attributes of the Father and the Son. The fifth one, another combination of the Father and the Eternal Spirit. And then you have the other one, it's the attributes of the Eternal Son and the Spirit, the Eternal Spirit. Ours, the super universe of Urantia, takes after the attributes of the Father, the Eternal Son, and the Eternal Spirit. So each super universe has unique characteristics that makes it such. Not all of them are the same. That is creation. Except that I forgot to tell you that the first universe created that never changed, remained eternal, is made of, at a certain distance from the Trinity, from the Isle of Paradise, because you cannot be that close either due to many concepts of radiation that has to do with being in the presence or too close to the Father, because it's an extremely powerful being. The first universe created was that it's called Havona, Havona. They are humongous, huge planets. Jupiter is very small compared to them. Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. It's at least 5 times that of Earth. Actually, more than that, but it's huge. You can place 10 Earth into Jupiter. So those spheres are much bigger than Jupiter, because they always remain in constant proximity, that is relative, to the eternal Isle of Paradise. That was the first paradise created. And after that, the other 7 took place. It takes after a long time. You will realize after a while that time is relative. Okay, let me give you an example. When we on this planet have a year, well, let's say after each month Once we experience a month on this planet, I'm going to have to say something else. In the center of our super universe, time it takes place differently. Only a day has expired. When we on this planet have gone through an entire month, 30 days, in that same fashion, in the center of our super universe, where time is different, only one day has gone by. All right, so I have to quickly talk about the reason why there are many changes upon Earth right now. I said earlier that the global warming is not as a result of global warming or human consumption or basically overuse of Earth resources, but it's part of a larger scheme of things. We have entered a number of years into what we call an area of enormous energy, right? When you're in that area, things start speeding up. Time changes. Our DNA mutates. Right now, we are in that energy field. It's called a monastic ring, or the photon belt. One of you asked me what that was earlier, if I remember. Well, photon indicates that there is light. It's the smallest particle that conducts light. Right now, the reason why I see those light is because there are multiple subparticles of photon that are being translated into my brain, which translate into the light. But they are actually particles traveling. Photon, light. Anytime you say photon, you have to see light. Photon equates to light. So we are in an area of extreme light, which means it's an energy, it's an area of intense energy, because we are in a region where we're getting closer to the radiation coming from paradise, in that sense. You could say that. That takes place, by the way, we travel into that energy field every 18,000 years. Out of it. When we are into it, it's about 2,100 years. That's why there's in some cultures they have the concept of the era, the golden age, and the age of Kali. That's how some other cultures interpret it, understand it. So right now we're on with what they call the golden age. But before we can reap the benefits of that age, we need to start anew. The old ways cannot exist anymore. That's why you see every single thing happening around you. The economy is collapsing. So we have entered that area of intense energy a few years ago. So the photon belt is basically the stage in which we enter when evolution must become increased in terms of its furthering. It has to become different. And when we enter into that energy, I'm going to have to tell you that because I don't know when I'm going to come back. But just in case I don't see you, if I don't know exactly when it's going to occur, but it probably is going to be soon. When it does happen, many will awaken to a binary sun system. There will be two suns in the sky, one smaller, one bigger. It's part of being in that energy field. When you have a second sun, it means that there's a lot more radiation flowing through the entire system. So which means that we have to vibrate more frequent, much more rapidity. It has to be faster, so life can take place at a much faster rate. The pace must increase. So the intensity of the radiation coming from those suns will accelerate the process. Weird stuff. Sounds scientific, science fiction. It's not. So, if you wake up to a second sun and you're confused, you remember this. Okay? There are many people who can explain it, Well, not that many in comparison to the population, but there are a few who will be able to explain it and are here to do just that. Okay? The government has placed you under hypnosis and kept you under ignorance so that you do not accept those notions. Well, there is no time any longer. The choice does not belong to them any longer. We cannot allow ourselves to allow them to manipulate our minds into thinking that we are alone. It's not true. It makes no sense whatsoever. In the eyes of the Creator, all children are the same. Do dogs look the same? No. Do all the cats look the same? Look at the variety of animals we have on Earth. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do we not see that this planet is rich in diversity? Even if you go to the mineral life, how many kinds of metals, rocks that you see that are different? How many trees are the same? That's what makes our planet, by the way, quite special. The variety of life. Look around you. The clues are right in front of you. You never look at them, but they're right here. It doesn't require a lot of thinking. Just allow yourself to think outside the box. That's all it does. That's all that is required. It's right here with us. We don't have time to play games any longer. See?
Brothers and sisters, please share your comments and do not forget to hit the notification button and subscribe. We sincerely appreciate your participation. Thanks for watching.